Welcome to a new Daily Top Askreddit video. Today's topic:
what job position is 100% overvalued and overpaid? I am here for a potential change of career. So what have we got so far, guys? Deleted. About 2/3 of the upper-level admins at the university I work for. I am the payroll person at a state university, and I completely agree with this. The people in upper management aren't even in union-protected jobs who, in theory, should be the first ones gone when we need to settle the budget problems we have. Instead, they were the only ones who got raises during COVID. My alma mater fired some 50 professors at the start of the pandemic, despite having a 60% to 40% ratio of administrators to teachers. A year later, they'd burn $50,000 on a series of tacky posters that everyone on campus hated. Administrative bloat is ruining universities. Good programs cancelled so we could have a third vice president of diversity and inclusion. Just utterly unreal. How does this happen though? Why do universities hire so many admins? And why do they not do anything to cut them when there are budget cuts? I know they want to make more money, and an easy way to do that is to cut useless costs. I know it's a huge problem, but I don't understand the mechanism behind it. The one I had at my last office job, I was originally hired to be the manager of a new project. But the project was never launched and I had a long-term contract. After 5 months of being paid by only clocking in and out without doing any actual work, someone saw me in the pool for available associates and invited me to join their project as a frontline agent. Apparently at some moment the database just marked me as an available employee, without mentioning the rank I had been hired for. I stayed in the company for 6 years, getting paid the salary of a manager, but with the responsibilities of a regular agent. I rejected every offer for growth I had, as I was only working there to pay for a debt. In the end, I made my money with very little stress, and left the company in great terms. Edit. Thanks for all the attention. I really didn't expect it to get so much traction. Here's an answer to a couple common comment I've seen. First, if it was so good, why did I leave? Simple. This job had nothing to do with my own career path. A few years back my life basically crumbled to pieces. I got into some really bad debt and at some point I just had to get a job. Even if it was an office job I didn't want. Worked for 2 years in another company before I was recommended for the position in the one mentioned in my post. The day my debt was paid off was the day I presented my 2-week notice and left in great terms. I was lucky to have a nice team around me. Second, no, I won't mention the company or project. It was as an analyst in a streaming app. No, not the super big ones. What I actually did as a frontline agent was a hybrid of customer service and developer support. All text-based. Third, it was indeed a very fortunate set of coincidences and I took advantage as much as I could. But I left due to my own pursuit. I'm doing good with my own independent endeavor, and no salary will be more valuable than my own sense of accomplishment of making a living out of what I love doing. Cheers. Reddit. Talk about a free resume booster too. Only if you hide the fact you didn't perform any managerial duties. My uncle was a commercial airline pilot. He described his job as vastly overpaid in normal circumstances and vastly underpaid in emergency situations. Firefighters and paramedics are in the same boat. $60 $80K a year in some places to pick up old people off the floor. But only $60 $80K to manage the pulseless and dying child at 3 in the morning. My father is in a special mountain rescue paramedic unit, and his salary is within that range. Most days it's picking up old people, but then sometimes he has to summit a mountain and risk decapitation from a stretcher as the helicopter it's attached to can't stabilize in a high alpine environment and crashes and tumbles down a glacier. Yeah, I feel this. I'm a rural medic, and some days I am paid a mint to do about an hour of maintenance work and then putter away on personal projects or work out and nap. And other times I do things most sane people wouldn't do for love or money. For 14+ hours until my employer is legally obligated to let me rest for 8 hours. President of FIFA. Today, I feel gay. I feel disabled. I feel like a migrant worker. Lol. And I'm new in town. If someone else is regional VP, they are either drowning in responsibilities working 70 hours a week, or they have absolutely nothing to do other than collecting a check. I would expand this, personally. Call it the Michael Scott theorem. In any company of sufficient size, there is at least one layer of management that is completely useless, but kept around as a dumping ground for people who earned a promotion but really should have stuck to non-management work, nepotism hires, and people who definitely shouldn't have been hired but are kept around so the person who recommended, approved hiring them doesn't get embarrassed. This is a real theory. Basically people rise to the level they can no longer excel. They no longer get promoted, and stay in the position they are just too inept to get promoted from. Regional director here. 70-hour-a-week camp. One think I'm doing it wrong. Fuck. Same with my best friend. She is never home, working 70+ hours a week. One night I babysat 3 kids for about 2 hours or so. The kids went to bed when I got there, and the parents had left dinner out for me, so all I did was eat their food and watch their TV and pet their dogs. When they got home, the mom paid me $100. I told her that was way too much. She slurred, "Don't worry about it, I'm drunk." And then I noticed her fly was down. So that was the most overpaid job ever. Lol. One of the smartest moves you can make as a parent is treat those who take care of your children incredibly well. I always overpay my sitters. They're worth every penny with the peace of mind they give me. So what I'm hearing is, pay teachers better. Quote, "You're not being paid for the night everything goes well. You're being paid for the nightmare night." Exactly. Any kind of babysitting is a just-in-case contract for when something happens and an adult needs to call for help, medical aid, or any other assistance in an emergency.